Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, June 12th. Just getting ready to look at the markets before we start trading today. And just taking a kind of zoom out back at this big picture. And again, what we see is we had this swing low here on June 21st. And then that kind of came up to a nice high over here around right around the beginning of July, around the 8th, right? You'll see that more precisely on the smaller time frames. But then we pulled back a little bit, really just like a 1 day pullback, and then nice impulsive move up again on Friday. So this was Thursday's pullback, and then big impulse up on Friday. And again, what we kind of always want to see, and the reason I still am leaving this previous channel here is we want to make sure that we're making a really nice sort of clean, fresh high here, right? Because if we don't really make a convincing new high, then that's often a forewarning that we're going into a range. So when we look at this back on the smaller time frame, you can see, there's our low and pushed really nicely up out of that. Came up to this high. There's our low again, and now pushing up out of it again. And that's sort of the structure that we're getting on that larger time frame. So even though this looks like we broke structure here, we broke a low, on the daily time frame, this wasn't a significant low. So it was a, sort of intermediate term low, but nothing that we needed to really concern ourselves with. So that's kind of where we're at. This green range, again, is just on this smaller time frame, this 4 hour. We had the low here up to these highs, and this is where we pulled back. And you can see what happened, right? We tried to make a high, and it wasn't convincing right in there. Okay, tried to make a high, but it wasn't convincing, and we pulled back pretty strongly from that. So that's what we want to be aware of. We want to make sure that that's not what's going to happen on this larger white range here from the daily time frame. So we pulled back, and I had said as long as we stay above this, we're good to go. And we did. We took the trade. We took a really nice trade off of these levels down here on the Nasdaq, and then really nice strong push up on Friday. So on Thursday and Friday, I should say. So things are looking pretty good. And basically, right now, all we're looking for is to see if we basically pull back again. We expect it to be somewhere. You know what? Actually, I'm going to keep this. I'll use this purple range. If we pull back again, we're going to expect it to be somewhere within that swing, okay? So basically somewhere between here and up here, okay? So we pulled back, we kind of made this fresh high. In fact, you might even consider it this, whoops, not that. It's the problem when you have too many drawings on your screen. So we might even consider it just right there, because if we look at this on the 2 hour, we'll see that, right? We kind of made this low, but then we made a higher low here and then pushed up to a new fresh high. So this looks like a nice low. Basically, we're just pulling back anywhere within this range is where we kind of hope to pull back to, and would make sense for us to pull back somewhere in here because there's quite a bit of sideways price action and there's going to be some volume there. So let's take a look and see what we have within there to give us an idea if there's anything we should be able to expect. And sure enough, we have a level right there that if we zoom in, we might be able to get a little bit more precision. And we see we came to it basically to the tick. Okay, and that's why usually if I trade levels like this, I like to get in a little bit ahead, front run it a little bit, because you can see we came back, tested this level really beautifully, and then we're bouncing. And so what we want to see now is this 43, 41, is this going to hold and then push us up to fresh highs, and then this becomes our new structural low from that 4 hour time frame or so. Okay, that's basically what we're looking at. There's some old levels down here that we were looking at from Thursday and Friday. So these are things we want to be aware of, but these aren't really strong levels. This is just, where we had these little consolidations. These were like scalping levels. So I'm going to kind of remove some of these because they're not looking incredibly significant to me at this point. And I'd rather just pay more attention to what's going on here. You can see we had a level here, we got a little bounce, another level down here, and a more significant bounce, but this was really close to that big picture level. And whenever we see that, we generally go with the big picture level, right? Which is right there. And it would have been a little bit tough to play. Your stop would have to have been under the volume cluster somewhere down here. but it probably would have worked out as a winner. I like to do 1-to-1 risk, so we would have put a stop somewhere like that, and then a target there, and you could have played that in the overnight, right? That would have worked out just fine. Okay. So as far as right now, what are we looking at for today? Things have been looking pretty bullish, and it's Monday, so I think we kind of just need to see where things are going to flow. Point of control from Friday was way up here, and looks like right now, of course, we still have a little bit of time to go. We've got about 45 minutes to go, but it looks like we're going to open up slightly below the point of control, but within the range of the previous day and within the value area of the previous day. And so one thing we can look at is if we kind of stay sort of within that, this point of control right here becomes a very nice target. So whenever we open up sort of within range and within value, put that there so it's recognizable, within range and within value of the previous day, it's very common that we come back and test that point of control from the previous day. So basically, if we took this trade, we could have targeted that, of course, but what I'd be looking for at the open today is any sort of a pullback to something, right? Something near a low that I can put my risk on and then target that point of control. That would be a nice sort of early trade for the day that we can take. So that's something that I'll consider. Again, you have to make your own decisions about what you want to trade. Notice also this point of control here from whatever that was, Wednesday or whatever, kind of lines up nicely with that pullback as well. So yeah, if we pull back a little bit, if we get a nice, some sellers come in right at the open, because we are, up here at the highs of this range, so it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect to see some sellers coming in. There's a decent probability, I would say above a 50% probability, that as long as we're still within value here, that if we can get an entry, maybe even testing this level again, to take it up to 43.60, 50, 43.60, 50. It's a weird thing to say. Otherwise, again, a little bit of volume down here that we might test. So that's always something that we can be aware of down there. But it's not really major volume, so I wouldn't put a lot of sort of credence in it. But there is some volume down here, kind of somewhere within this range. We might expect some form of support along there. It's a very sort of wishy-washy level. If you look at it, it's not like there's any one level that's like super pronounced. We do have a bunch of buying. This is that candle right here, right? This is all buying volume. And so, we might come back and test some of these levels, but again, I'm going to be pretty careful down there. I'd probably go to a lower time frame and look for things. So nothing too major level wise. We have this 43, 41.25 that we've already tested. We may test it again, but we also could go through it if we test it again. And like I said, if we open up within yesterday's range and value, it's a decent possibility that we'll test this high again from Friday, and at least test and touch 43.60 before we come back down if we're going to do a deeper pullback again. But, this looks nice. I mean, we had all this volume here. We're coming back. We tested the top. I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of rocket right off and have a nice bullish day today. There was no terrible news that came in over the weekend, so nothing too much to worry about. And yeah, that's kind of that. So that's what I'm looking at today. Again, not a lot of like major levels right now. But we'll see how the day unfolds. We'll be trading live in our Discord room, which you can access for free. Just go to dpmtrades.com and click on community and just join the free room. And I encourage everybody to just join the free room, especially if you're new and just want to get a feel for our community. And it's a very new community, so we pretty much are giving access to almost everything to free members, with the exception of just some of our custom indicators and some of the actual alerts on long-term and swing trades. But as far as day trading goes, if you're a futures day trader, scalper, etc., you can come join us for free and trade along with our community, which is kind of nice to have be able to put your minds together, and some people will see things that you don't see, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, I'm going to sign off, get ready to start the day. And if you're going to join us, I'll look forward to seeing you in the trade room.